Meet Steve. He spent 3 months running customer interviews. 50 interviews later, he was more confused than when he started. If you've ever talked to customers, gathered feedback, and ended up with more questions than answers, you're not alone. The problem? Most founders ask the wrong questions. They collect opinions, not real insights. But there's a 30-minute method that flips that. It focuses on what customers actually do, not what they say they do, and it's shockingly effective. Stick around till the end and I'll even give you a free customer interview cheat sheet that makes this super simple to run. It's the same system I've taught to over 1,000 startups and the exact one I break down in my book, Running Lean. No surveys, no guesses, just a proven script that reveals what really drives people to buy. Hi there, if you're new to this channel, my name is Maurya. I'm an entrepreneur and author and the creator of the popular one-page business modeling tool, Lean Canvas, used by millions of founders around the world. I'm also the author of Running Lean, where I documented the exact customer discovery methodology that's helped over 100,000 startups uncover breakthrough insights. So here's the frustrating reality. Founders spend weeks doing customer interviews and come away with a list of problems that don't lead to breakthrough products. Why? Because they're asking the wrong questions. When you ask customers directly about their problems, you get surface-level complaints, not the deep insights that create successful products. What I'm going to show you today is the exact 30-minute interview framework from Running Lean that helped 1,000 founders uncover real customer forces instead of just polite lies. I'll walk you through the framework here, but I've created a complete demo cell build implementation toolkit with the full interview scripts, validation templates, and systematic revenue validation guides. I'll show you exactly how to get that at the end. So let me start by telling you about Steve's customer discovery nightmare specifically. He was validating his VR platform idea that we talked about in previous videos and took the traditional approach. He created surveys asking architects to rank their top problems. He did focus groups asking what features they wanted. He even conducted 50 one-on-one interviews asking directly, what are your biggest challenges with 3D rendering? After 3 weeks, Steve had a spreadsheet with over 200 problems, conflicting feature requests, and no clear direction. Worse, when he tried to build and pitch some of these solutions, his customers didn't want to buy. That's when Mary introduces him to the systematic approach from Running Lean. Instead of asking about problems, she had him study how architects actually used their current solutions. Within one 30-minute interview, Steve uncovered an insight that completely changed his product direction. Now, here's why traditional approaches fail. Problem number one, people don't know their real problems. When you ask directly, customers give you obvious surface-level issues they are consciously aware of, but breakthrough products solve problems customers didn't even know they had. Problem number two, you bias their answers. The moment you mention a problem, you put a spotlight on it and exaggerate its importance in their mind. This is called the spotlight effect. Problem number three is you get opinions and not real customer behaviors. Customers are terrible at predicting their future behavior. They tell you what they think they should want, but not what they actually do in the future. The Running Lean approach flips this completely. Instead of asking about problems, you study their current behavior and let the problems reveal themselves. Here's the exact 30-minute interview structure from Running Lean that cuts through customer lies and gets to real customer forces. Now, this isn't just another set of questions. This is a systematic approach I've refined over the years of working with thousands of startups, and the beauty is in how each section builds on the previous one. You start off with just 2 minutes for welcoming and setting up your interview. And here's what you say. Thanks for your time. I'm building something for people just like you, and I want to understand how you currently do X. This is where you introduce the high-level job or bigger context that includes the space you're operating in. Think of the bigger context as a circle that includes both your solution as well as the other existing alternatives in your space that your customers are actually using. Once the stage is set, then you ask them to walk you through their last experience using their existing alternative of choice. Notice what I'm not asking. I'm not asking about problems. I'm not asking what they want. I'm asking them to walk me through something specific that they actually did. And then you spend 5 minutes anchoring them in recent usage. And this step is absolutely critical. Don't let them speak hypothetically. Instead, ask them to tell you about the last time they might have used the current solution and ask them what triggered that need. The key here is specificity. You want them thinking about Tuesday afternoon at 3 p.m. when they actually open the app, not some general impression of what they usually do. The next 5 minutes then explores triggers. You're digging deeper. What prompted you to look for a solution that day? Had anything changed? What was the situation you found yourself in? You're looking for the moment something shifted in their world that triggered the need for that job. The next 5 minutes are about understanding their selection process. Can you walk me through how you chose this? What else did you consider? Where did you hear about this chosen solution? These questions reveal their decision-making patterns or solution hiring criteria and what influences them. The longest section in the script is the next 10 minutes, where you unpack specific usage scenarios. Walk me through how you got started, what did you do next, and then what happened after that. Notice that here too, I'm not asking at any point in time for problems. I'm instead simply getting the story out, and every story that a customer has drama. When I hear excitement or disappointment in their voice, I chase that thread further. The art here isn't to expect a big problem banner in the interview, but rather to listen for small frustrations, pet peeves, and workarounds, things they've just accepted as the way it is. That's where you're going to find real, interesting problems worth solving. And the final minutes of the interview are for wrap-up. And this is also an important step. I end each interview with 3 critical things: the hook, the ask, and the referral. The hook is not a place to pitch or design your solution. There's no time for that. You need to first learn before you pitch and should defer talking about your solution to the next conversation. What I do instead in the hook is to summarize their story in 30 seconds, highlighting a few key problems that may be worth solving for them. If you can describe those problems better than they do, that's the best tease for your solution. I then ask for permission to follow up in a couple of weeks from now to show them something I'm working on that I think would address these problems. If you've identified a true problem worth solving, you should have no problem setting up this follow-up meeting. And the last thing I ask for is a referral to more people like them, or if this is a multi-actor purchase, other influencers in the buying process that I should speak with. So here's how Steve's first systematic interview went using the Running Lean script. Instead of asking about problems, Steve asked Sarah, a senior architect, "Can you walk me through your last client presentation project?" Steve followed the script, anchoring around her specific experience. When did you create those renderings? What prompted the need for 3D renderings in the first place? And what tool did you use? How did you select it? Sarah explained that she had spent $800 on a professional 3D rendering for a kitchen remodel. The client loved them but wanted to see the island moved 3 feet to the left. So I had to go back to the 3D modeler, pay another $400, and wait 3 days for the revision. Then the client wanted different cabinets and appliances, another $400, and another 3 days later, she had her rendering. In 30 minutes following this systematic script, Steve discovered that the real problem here wasn't the quality of the renderings, it was the cost and time of revisions during client decision-making. This insight completely changed his product from building a better 3D rendering tool to instant client revision capabilities that even an architect could make on their own. Now, here's why the Running Lean interview method is so powerful. It is based on actual behavior, not hypothetical scenarios. People can accurately tell you what they did yesterday. They can't reliably tell you what they'll do tomorrow. It reveals the complete customer journey. When you understand the full timeline from trigger to outcome, you see opportunities that direct problem questions miss. It also uncovers emotional switching forces, and this part is absolutely key. The frustration in Sarah's voice when she talked about revision delays told Steve everything about the intensity of this problem. Finally, it follows a proven script. The 30 to 45-minute structure from Running Lean ensures you capture customer forces systematically, not randomly. Again, this isn't just theory, it's an exact battle-tested methodology I've used with over 1,000 startups in my workshops and coaching programs, which I then documented in Running Lean after years of testing and refinement. So here's how to implement this approach. Weeks 1 and 2, target and interview recent users. Here's where you find 10 to 15 people who recently used existing alternatives to what you're building, not prospects, actual users with real experience. Then use the 30 to 45-minute script structure, ask them to walk you through the last usage story following the question sequence. It doesn't take long for patterns to quickly emerge. In weeks 3 and 4, you then focus on pattern recognition and customer forces mapping. This is where you look for recurring themes across interviews and build customer clusters around the jobs they're trying to do, existing alternatives they're currently using, and the desired and actual outcomes they're experiencing. Remember that the initial goal isn't validating your assumed problems, but instead discovering the landscape of problems through systematic behavior analysis. In weeks 4 and 6, you then turn these insights into something I call a Mafia offer. A Mafia offer is an offer your customers cannot refuse because you pitch them a solution at that point that fits their problems like a glove. And yes, I also have a detailed Mafia offer pitch script in my book, Running Lean. Okay, so what I've shown you here is the problem discovery framework overview from Running Lean, the detailed implementation, including the complete interview script, question sequences, and systematic validation approach. That's in the demo cell build implementation toolkit that I've created. The toolkit helps accelerate your customer discovery process and includes the complete 30-minute interview methodology that beats 50 interviews, Running Lean systematic interview structure with exact timing, and a backdoor problem discovery set of questions that you can use to reveal true customer forces. It jumpstarts customer interviewing and gives you everything you need to run systematic interviews that reveal customer forces and turn those insights into revenue before you build anything. Click the link in the description below to get your copy of the toolkit. Now, next week, I'm going to take this a step further and show you how to validate any startup idea in under 90 days using a systematic approach that proves customers will buy before you build anything. Thanks for watching and hope to see you next week. Take care.